You are here for the Oren Klaff project. What's interesting, you came to the right place today because there's two intros. One intro for today's call is if you're 33 years old and younger. And the second intro is if you're 36 years or older. And if you fall in between those two, you're hosed. But here's the story. I saw this meme online, this little thing, and it was a family offering a cat for adoption. And they had a little sign, and this one scraggly looking cat did not look like it looked like it was on its last legs. And there's a little sign on the cage on the SPCA offering where they have dogs and cats and hamsters and abandoned baby polar bears like they have in Rancho Santa Fe here, whatever the case is. So this little scraggly cat is being offered for adoption. There's a sign on the cage that says, "Free to a good home." Or any home. We don't give a fuck. That is actually part of the master thesis, economic thesis that we're going to get into today on today's call. The second intro for those of you guys like, Chuckle, I'm older than that. Great. Why am I hanging and spending so much time with Sam? Sam is a colleague of mine, a friend of mine, a very good friend, and we work together. For me, he represents two aspirational highs. He embodies two aspirational highs in the world, and one is integrity. The things Sam says and the things he does and the people he works with and the way he conducts his business and his life are 100% in alignment with each other. And so I have never experienced somebody with such high integrity. Okay, when he comes out of church, does he push past little old ladies to get to his car? Not that kind of integrity. Does he do everything perfectly? No. Flawed human. You know who else is a flawed human? You and me and everybody. Yeah. My son, 10 years old, a flawed human, hasn't even had a chance to adopt flaws. But Sam, one thing I love about Sam is he lives in this kind of alignment, which I call integrity. And the other thing is certainty. People say, hey, you see all the stuff on Instagram, 5 a.m., I'm all in, go for broke, burn the ships at the shore. That is false certainty. Yep. When you are risking everything to go, I'm all in, that is not integrity and it's not certainty. But before we get into my macroeconomic thesis and what we're doing in business, Sam, how do you define certainty in the way that you have it and deliver it?
I think you nailed it, man. Certainty is not a show. You're not here for the grand finale. You're not here to burn everything that you have so that you've demonstrated who you're not. You know, I'm gonna wake up at 4 a.m. and I'm gonna go work out for 75 days. I'm gonna go hard at it 75 days. So what?
Hustle culture.
So what? That's not you.
Yeah, hustle culture.
So what? I would say, so what? Why? Even if you complete it, why? What's gonna serve? What's the goal? And you say the goal is to become more disciplined. The goal is to get momentum. What for? What do you want the momentum for? A lot of people are gung-ho of getting something, but they don't know once they get it, they want it for what? You called it out, man. Yeah, nobody's perfect at all. We know that, right? This is not something I'm saying that's new. What I'm saying is not perfection, but direction. Somebody that has direction is certain. Somebody that's chasing perfection, no bueno.
This podcast is over. It's going to continue, but it's not going to get better, right? We peaked 30 minutes early. Clear direction and momentum on a direction is certainty. I've never heard it like expressed to me in that way, and I love that. Certainty is not that I'm going to hit the goal. That's risk, because if you dedicate to an outcome, the chances in today's world that you have the luck and the money and the momentum and the relationship and the skill to become an NHL goalie, to become a quarterback in college football, to become get admitted to Harvard University, to start a hedge fund and get $100 million handed. The competition is bananas. And then when you look back at the people that actually nailed it, they'll just say, I was lucky.
Yeah, yeah.
So the competition is out of control, and then you also need luck, which you can't control. So if you attach yourself to outcomes, you become the most uncertain you could possibly be. And now you go, I cannot be uncertain. I have to demonstrate certainty to let people know I'm confident and in charge. And now you have the two faces of Oren. The things you know to be true and the things you want to be true, and you're out of alignment, and you don't actually have certainty. That is like a little thing that if you're under 33, you're going, when do we get to talk about the cat again? Because you don't know.
That got me. The cat story got me, man. Hey,
all right, let's get into it.
take it home.
So my new hypothesis is that the pitch, so Pitch Anything, you're probably here because you're familiar with the book. Pitch Anything teaches you how to pitch correctly to raise money or close deals when you have something to sell. So we have a security, we have equity, we're selling a car, we're selling a home, we're selling a project, we're selling software, we're selling ourselves, we're trying to get a job. That's the job of Pitch Anything. But my new hypothesis in the new economy that we have is that you also have to pitch to buy stuff. Mm-hmm. Because our economy has really bifurcated itself. So 70% of the economy is individuals and households who are struggling to maintain basic bills and keep less than 6 months of cash runway in their savings. I believe 60% of that 70% doesn't have enough savings to make it 2 weeks.
Right.
And the way they have that data, I think we talked about last time, that's actually data-driven. So if you look at Petco, the revenue and sales and the data from Petco, if you look at it from Dave & Buster's, if you look at it from Walmart, the things that people are buying and how the stocks are performing is low because the lower 60% of the lower 70% is not participating in the high end of our economy. You're going to now go to the higher end of our economy. Homes in my neighborhood are $3.5 million. 5 years ago, they were $1 million.
Yeah.
Right? And cars have just gone completely bananas. Cars, homes, insurance, then semi-luxurious items like trading cards, Michael Jordan, rookie cards, Rolex watches, collectibles, and nice stuff that you want that are legacy things to mark anniversaries, birthdays, celebrations have gotten wacky in terms of their pricing. What's a Rolex that would be aspirational?
Let's say a Mariner, right? A nice Mariner.
That's a Submariner, right? You're going in and you pick one out and they're going to go, hey, I don't have it available. You want to get on the list, right? Now, so you're trying to buy something that is what, $30,000, $40,000?
Yeah, 30, 40,000. And there's, hey, you're on the list for next 3-4 years. You're pretty distant from having it.
Yes. So if it's a Lamborghini Dorado, if it's a Rolex, now you can go, these are examples.
Yeah.
Right? You go way down.
Yeah.
Right? You go down market, and I want to give you an example. So we were looking for a place to put a building to put our factory in Dallas. So we're putting a factory in Dallas, and when I sold real estate for some projects in Hawaii, I had one element to my pitch, which is, hey, Sam, listen, I really like this project for you. And you have to understand, they're not making any more Hawaii. If you want, think about Texas. They're always making more Texas.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow they'll have more Texas than they had today.
That's right.
But Hawaii, they're not making any more Hawaii. So if you want this project, come get it. Otherwise, it's gone. But that's not the case anymore. They're not making any more Dallas. And so we need a factory location in Dallas. And we figured we would just waltz in there in 30 days, get a couple 100,000 square foot facility where we could start production in our factory. So we show up in Dallas. Everybody else wants to build a factory in Dallas too, and factory floor space is limited or gone. So instead of being in the buying position, I'm now trying to buy something from the selling position, right? So we find a facility that we want, 240,000 square feet, and they're like, show us your balance sheet. How fast can you close? How much can you bid over asking? Are you offering us equity? What is the size of your deposit? And we lost that deal because we were just blown away. No, you guys are confused. We're buying and you're selling.
Right.
And they're like, no, you need to up your bid in order to put yourself in the game and be considered. So we lost that.
Yeah.
So we locked down to 170,000 square feet, right? And we got in the same game, which is to us, it feels like a commodity, right? A large building in Dallas, Texas, where we can build a factory. I go back to, I think we talked about this before, Jeeps. You want to buy a Jeep today. In the old days, you would go in and say, I want to buy a red Jeep. And they would just go, there you go, walk around. When you find one that you like, come and tell us and we'll write it up for you. Today, every Jeep on the Jeep lot is a one of one.
Yeah.
Right? So companies have gotten, and the economy has tightened up at the top side. Real estate has become so tight, and companies have got so good at making their products that everything is a one of one, right? So you find one. You and I both had Jeeps. Tell us about the Jeep that you stepped into.
Oh, the
Recon.
two-door Recon. Oh, man, that was great. It's gone. But
I love that Jeep. I took my son, you gave me that Jeep, and I took my son to the animal park.
Oh, you
and
did?
I will
Yeah,
never forget it.
Yeah, with the red stripe. Oh man, the
that's
Recon
gorgeous.
it was one of a kind because they actually made it one of a kind. That was right about time where the script got flipped. And here's a reality of what's happening, right? Where you walk in today and you have a desire for an item. Some may label it a luxury, but it's not really luxury anymore. It's just desirable items. Unique. Right? So the industry has found a way to take the want of the buyer and make it into a need. That's the frame now. You go there, you have the money, you're ready to buy, and then they put the frame of, wait a second, I understand you want this, but show me that you need this. It's a power play, man.
Exactly. So you brought that Recon over. I was like, hey, thanks for the Jeep. And you're like, whoa, wait, slow down.
It's not any Jeep.
It's a Jeep Sahara Wrangler Recon. I'm like, I never heard of it. And it's two-door. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know how many doors Jeeps have.
Two-door, bro. Right? It's rare.
It's two-door, rare. And then I turn around, and now I'm programming the next generation. Can I go, Asher? That's my son. This is not just a Jeep.
Nope.
This is a Wrangler Sahara Deep Desert Recon
edition,
two-door edition with red stitching on the seatbelt. And because I'm his dad, he's like, Dad, that's amazing. So now I'm programming the next generation for a one-off. So back to real estate. What's interesting, the reason that we don't just go, hey, we need a factory and we want it in Dallas, because this same programming, reframing has happened across our culture. So if you think about Amazon, it was like, we're going to do a new headquarters.
Yep.
Like same with us, we're doing a new headquarters. And we did, we looked all over the country. And so they looked at Cincinnati, Ohio, they looked at Michigan. So all these cities put together these huge bids and these proposals to attract Amazon to a lower cost area than Seattle,
yep,
where they can run their global headquarters. Detroit, Michigan, Cincinnati, Ohio, Salt Lake City, Jacksonville, Florida, somewhere in South Carolina, and then somewhere Canadian adjacent states. They all bid. There's a big hoopla, and it was, what city is Amazon going to choose for their new global headquarters? And it ended up being Manhattan, the highest cost real estate in the entire country, higher cost than Seattle, where they started. Why? Because that's where the people are.
Yeah.
That's where the employees are.
Yeah.
You can put everybody in the same building, have people work together. That's where the smartest, most skilled, most cashed up, most communicative, most capable, skilled workers are in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Don't get mad at me, Detroit. You have a great hockey team, affordable real estate, good conservative Midwest values, but you do not have the most highest skilled Columbia University workers there adjacent, ready to hire. Same thing for us. We need to be in Dallas because we need skilled workers, not just space for the factory.
Yeah.
I think other people figured out that as well. The real estate is more expensive, but it's not that expensive. So we're sitting here, and now I'm in a situation where I'm bidding against myself. And they're like, what can you offer? And normally, 5 and a 5, 7, 7, 8, 8. How much will I go? I'll go up to 10. 10's not enough. Okay, I'll go to 12, 13. So we ended up, along with our bid, is doing something like an $800,000 additive deposit to give our bid more security for the space in Dallas. And then they're the one to look at the actual deal. It used to be in the old days, landlords are, can you pay the bill? Can you front cash? Can you pay rent in advance? Can you put up $1 million deposit? Not like, what business are you in?
Right.
So I like pitch them our business. And so that's where so we're pitching them to be able to buy the land and the lease and lease it. And so now we're pitching them the business. Luckily, we have a great business. If you haven't seen the business we're doing in Dallas, that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
Get involved with that and follow the link at the bottom of this podcast. And I do a webinar on it every Friday. And you can see the deal that we're putting in Dallas. It's amazing, but that's not the subject of this. So we won that reverse pitch.
Yeah.
So we were allowed to buy and lease that real estate that we needed in Dallas. But I think the takeaway is when you are up against the clock to get something that you want, that is perfect for you, you have to be ready to get into a reverse bid, but you have to be able to pitch yourself over the other people trying to buy it. Whether it's a Rolex, if you need relationships. Ferrari's a great example.
Yep.
Hey, look, we're not just stuck on this luxury stuff, but these are good examples that everybody can relate to. But Ferrari doesn't just sell you. There's people on their blacklist,
Yep.
right? They don't like your politics. They don't like how you've bought and sold your cars before, and they just won't sell you a car. So you need to get the high end of that Ferrari product, you need a relationship. You need to have owned Ferraris before, and you need to be in line, and you need to be playing the game as they want you to play it, even though they're selling it. We've talked about this stuff before. So to buy stuff, you're also a seller, and you have to be ready to do reverse filling.
And as a seller, if you're listening to this, and obviously you're pitching, and as a seller, you have to make some changes in your pitch because the marketplace is being trained to buy this way. The marketplace right now, in the past 4 years, is under the training of buyers pitching, right? Buyers pitching. And so if you have a product out there or a service out there, you got to have to reframe. It's time for you to reframe.
If it's available like it used to be in the 80s and 90s, that used to be good enough. Like now, today, buyers assign higher value on products that are not available.
Yeah, not availability. And also, whether it's available or not, it's all how you frame it, right? Hey, here's how we used to do business. Used to come in and order. Now we have an ordering process. Now we have a sign-up process. Now we have an application or onboarding process. However, you can't be an asshole about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because then you come out as a phony.
I agree. You want toothpaste? Let me get your application.
Lately, there was this thing that there was a car club or some kind of thing that was out there. I said it would be cool maybe to go drive on the weekends and be part of this car clubs. And so I did put my name in there. I rarely do these things. And somebody called me and I said, hey, just call me. Just call me. That's not part of our onboarding process. You got me on the text. I'm telling you, call me. And you telling me that's not part of our onboarding process. You can't be rigid. You can't be an asshole. It's just onboarding. So we haven't even met.
And also, certain things are illegal. Some of these retail. So, for example, if you look up Select Blinds, they got dinged for saying, and really, I would say no fault of their own, but they say regular price, whatever, $99.99, $90.99, sale price $79.99. But I think they got dinged because the price was never really $99.
Yeah.
It was always $79.
Yeah.
So you're not allowed to do that anymore.
At all.
Now I know why they did it, because that's standard practice and everybody did it, but for some reason they attracted the ire of the FTC when they got dinged for it. So we go back to integrity. Like that's out of integrity.
100%.
To go, hey, regular price to my conference is $2,000 for now only $799.
Yeah, that's just out of integrity.
If it was never 2000, and it's not really on sale and it's going back to 2000, you cannot do that.
But that's all over the place now. There's abuse taken from that perspective. And that's really untraining. Right, that's really untraining. That's creating a lack of trust in the rarity of the product that you're trying to project. And that becomes obvious, just like this guy with his onboarding process.
So we talked last time, Americans don't care about price.
Nope.
They care about integrity, and they care about relationship, and they care about speed.
Yeah.
I'm doing a deal with some guys. We're literally having an argument about, so we're doing an event together. There's two things interesting about it. So when I'm doing an event on May 31st here, and so there's 100 investors coming to the event. And so I go, hey, great, let's announce the event. There's $1,000 to come. And they go, you cannot just announce an event that's $1,000. You have to announce that you're going to announce an event and that there's a limited amount of tickets available. So that falls into, so the scheme is not announce a price and then discount the price and so you're getting a deal. That is the sort of 2000s, late 90s, 2000s ClickFunnels price. We have such a rich economy. Within reason, price is not the issue. It is unique experience, scarcity, and being on the inside.
Yep.
So if you can signal to someone they're on the inside and it's true, now you've got the ability to pitch them cleanly. But if you're still relying on ClickFunnels, 1990s, early 2000s, price mechanisms to say, hey, you're getting a price deal, our culture no longer cares about price.
100%. Think about Rolex. You walk into Rolex right now and you want to buy this watch and you're given an answer, which is, okay, we'll put you on a name list, pretty careless, and you'll get it perhaps average time 2-3. By the time that your name was going to pop up on the list, the person that's working there at X amount of dollars per hour is no longer there. You're not dealing with the owner of Rolex there. You're not dealing with the regional manager or the guy that knows the inventory. You're dealing as somebody that's just telling you a frame. And there's a way to break that frame, and there is a way for you to pitch that you are a buyer now and increase the speed of it. But most people would just walk out.
And in the olden days, for you to indicate that you're a buyer now was super dangerous. Yeah. Right? Because you would get picked off. You would get picked off like an eagle picking up a rabbit running through a newly mowed baseball field. Right. But today, it doesn't work. Look at airline tickets, right? It used to be like you could search for airline tickets and find thousands of dollars of difference, but if you were going to Europe, right? Today, you're not going to find a ticket that is $1,000 difference.
It's like the car industry.
The price.
Yeah.
I bought this car. I bought this M4 at AutoNation, right? And I'm like, hey, you know, I'm like any other buyer. Like, I want a deal, right? And they're like, wait, yeah, it's AutoNation. We have a price.
One fixed price.
We priced it. I'm like, $1,000? They're like, no, I can't. Like, this is the price on the car. They're like, you want it or not? I'm like, $300? I know this is sad for the author of Pitch Anything, but it's
you gotta get a deal.
It's exhausting. Deal. And they're like, dude, what are you talking about?
I gotta get a deal.
It's X hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you want $300? I'm like, I don't know. I'm stuck in the 90s. Give me that free license plate holder. And like, no. You know, can I? And I'm like, and then I ended up buying like $600 of T-shirts and bags and stuff for my wife. So not only did I not get a deal, but I bought shirts at 3 times what they should cost for anyway. The system is not set up the way it used to be for these open negotiations. So you can come in and signal, I'm a buyer.
Yeah.
You have the internet. You can research the price online.
And I think for the audience, we need to have an action item from this story.
Sure.
Like, our goal was not just to inform you, right? Our goal was to remind you of what is happening, and you most probably have experienced what we're talking about. So the question is, really, in your product and services and what you're selling, where is the opportunity for you to reframe? Where is the opportunity for you to allow this role of the buyers to pitch it to you? I think that is the most valuable thing that we can extract from what is happening to the marketplace.
In all of our deals, for sure, right? You cannot just come in and buy. You have to present to us a case of why you're good for our business.
Right.
Why is that? That's counterintuitive, but I can tell you, and you're going to lose some people along the way.
Yep.
And they're going to go, but I'm telling you, the people you're going to lose, right, are the people you wanted to lose. I think this is my takeaway. The purpose of this podcast for me really is to get you to adopt this cat that was nobody wanted.
Just take the fucking cat, man.
That's why I'm really here.
Bottom line.
Is to sell you this cat. My job. The people, I would say, if you run good process, and I think there's a takeaway here. If you run good, clean process on either the buy side or the sell side, you're gonna and you have certainty, not that you're the best, not that you're the greatest, but you're doing the right thing for that buyer at this time, and you have certainty in your integrity, and you're running strong integrity game, and you run good process in which they have got to participate in the transaction with something besides money, intention, integrity, their word, bringing other people to the table, whatever your product
emotions,
is.
man.
Emotion. There's not an emotionless sale. Because why? Because if you don't have emotion, I have low certainty that you are going to close.
Yes.
And now I'm spending time with you that I could spend with a smaller sale that has high certainty. So I will always, if you're buying from me, I will always trade you out for a lower price sale with more certainty.
Yes.
So if you don't provide certainty in today's world, that as a buyer, you're not going to get the things you want. But as a seller, you need your buyer to provide emotional connection, commitment, and investment. And I think that's really it, is investment. Like they have to invest in the process. If I'm doing all the work, I will not work. There's no reason I should work harder on your life than you should. If you're buying a Ferrari to make yourself happy, right? If you're buying some real estate to make yourself happy, if you're buying an investment to make your family or the future of your family happier, you should be working on that at least as hard as I am as the seller. You got to set these processes up right. If you set the processes up right, you're going to lose some people, which is scary. Which is scary. But the people you lose were meant to,
they were not buyers.
What is it? If you love something and let it free and it doesn't come back, you never loved you, and whatever.
I don't know,
man.
Okay. But all I know is that they were not meant to buy from you.
They were not meant. They were meant to make some other business person.
They were allowed to talk to you. They were
Yeah.
allowed to come in, but they were not called to purchase.
Yes. Many are called, few are chosen.
That one I know.
that one. We finally found a saying that you're familiar with. Many are called, few are chosen. Yeah. This is actually a Navy recruiting ad here. So for those of you who would be interested in protecting our country, contact me. We'll take you down to the Navy recruiting office, and we'll pour a bunch of water in your face, give you a dive mask, fill that dive mask up with water, and see how much you choke, and see if you're good enough. I mean, think about that. Like, you want to be a Navy SEAL.
You have to.
Right? They're like, oh, you want to be a Navy SEAL? Great, here you go. Right? The things you have to do are to wash out people who don't believe, who aren't committed, who don't want to invest their life in the defense of our country. So they're working 100% of the time for the DOR, the drop on request.
Yep.
I would have a process which says, watch some, by the way, there's infinite shows on this Navy SEAL Buds. It's beat to death now, right? You can watch all kinds of shows and YouTube things on what the process they do to get somebody to DOR, drop on request, because they only want the committed. So how can you take that paradigm and put it in a much more obviously relaxed way in your own business and try and get buyers to drop on request? Because if they do, to ring the bell and say, I'm out. Because if they do, it meant they were never going to be a great buyer or investor for you. So look, hey, Oren, what is that process? I don't know. After 31 minutes, I'm tired. I got to go have a cup of coffee and get back to my job. And so we can't run through the process here, but we can run through the process with you on a different day. Sam, when is that day, and what does that look like?
We are working on announcing the days. We got a Pitch Live event coming up with Oren and I here down in these offices where you get to be in proximity. And these are exactly the things that we're going to go in details and break down. Not only work on process, but also work on customizing the process inside of your business, where all these frames are now becoming tactical ways of generating revenue. So it's a production-based workshop Oren and I are putting together. It's called Pitch Live Anything. And we will pitch anything live. Pitch Live Anything. That's a great one.
Pitch Live and
Live Anything.
What goes? Anything.
Pitch Anything Live, and that's coming up. We'll have the dates to announce next week.
Okay, cool. So I think Pitch Anything has sold more than 1 million copies. And I'm going to do it to you. I'm going to do the Jeep, Sahara, Wrangler, Recon, Red Stitching, Deep Desert to you, two-door, right now. Pitch Anything has sold 1 million copies. I'm sitting in a space here where my headquarters where we can fit 100 people. Yep. So if you want to be one of those 100 people, like, just signal now in advance, say, hey, I'm in, because we're going to announce it. It's going to fill, and I hate for you to be an outsider while we're doing all of this with insiders. But you decide. Right? You're the boss of me. You tell me what you want to do. You want to come and participate. You want to watch from the outside. You want to listen to podcasts. You want to adopt three-legged cats. Whatever you want to do, I'm behind. But if you want to come, then come, and we will show you how to run process to where the buyers are applying to work with you and buy the things that you have.
Yeah, this is really like the pre-registration announcement. We're going to have a site for you to register right about next week. But if you heard this before that, then you reach out to Oren and you find your way to make sure that you have a seat.
All right. Hey, man, you got a new car. Tell us about your new car.
Which car? Wow. Oh, yeah, the R8. The R8. What a great car.
Sam buys so many
2011
cars.
R8.
That thing's beautiful.
Original, I think it was the original V8 line. What year? I think it came out in 2007. So I don't
2007,
know. Yeah, I don't know. There was some kind of enhancement.
Yeah.
Single transmission. That's the coolest part about it, where you can
single clutch,
where you can feel every single shift.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll bring it here.
Okay. We'll see you here with the Audi R8. And by the way, if you love cars, this is the right place to be. We'll see you here. It's a car show. All right, guys, we'll see you next week, and we will dig deeper into Oren's macroeconomic thesis and how to get these difficult but profitable sellers, buyers dragged in. And that's what we think about all the time. See you back here.